Good morning. So, yesterday I started working on the formulas for my skills. Starting to build up the skill formulas that are going to be used in determining skill checks and all the things that happen throughout the football game. And so I started working on hands and fatigue, which are the two kind of fatigue is kind of the easy one. Although I'm trying to determine in the original root formulas, I designed it to be where the fatigue is availability, which means it's actually injury and fatigue all in one little neat basket. But I'm trying to determine if I want to have durability and fitness, or durability and I don't know. I mean, durability is about injury. Fitness is about, I don't know, your cardio ability, right? Your ability to not get tired. And I do have, obviously, injury checks and I have fatigue. And I was just going to have them kind of be connected. But now I'm trying to determine if I want to do that. Right now, I think I'm going to calculate it as I'm going to calculate the two separate values and then I'm going to combine them and get me a similar. So I've got this value, I've got the availability result. And this is the value that I'm using for now. And it's a really very basic formula. I mean, that one's probably the least complex of all my formulas. It just basically takes into account how much they actually played in the season. And injury and fatigue are two values that are similar, but not quite the same. So injury is basically how many games they played in the season. Were they available in the season? So I have games in season and games played. And then it's a number. I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. I think I'm going to have to add some kind of a standardizer or something to adjust it. But I'm not using it completely. And fatigue is basically based on how much they actually played. And since I don't really have, there is actually a snap count. But I don't know if there's a snap count per play, like how many plays did they play in the game, but it's also kind of hard to say that because that's not, it's like of defensive plays, how many times were they in? You know, but what if they are only the third CB? It's not that they fatigue easy. Maybe these guys just aren't that skilled, but there's really, that's kind of how it's determined. It's determined by their playability. So you can't, it's going to be difficult to find a hidden gem in the depth of players because they're going to have some limitations. So even if they're actually pretty good and you want to give them a chance, say for example, let's say Joe Flacco. Is it Joe Flacco? I think it is. He's on the bench a lot, but he was a Super Bowl quarterback. And some people might go, hey, let's play Joe Flacco. He's got good stats. He's normally pretty consistent. He's solid. Maybe I don't have that good of a team overall. I want to play Flacco. But Flacco's going to have, because he's generally been a bench warmer these last few years, he's going to have a pretty low availability, which doesn't mean he can't play. It just means it's going to affect his chances. The reality of it, he's either going to fatigue quickly or he's going to get injured frequently, or he's got a higher chance of injury, which means there's a good chance he might not be available to you all the time. Now that all can change. I mean, as a season progresses, as things happen, certain things can benefit the player and increase or decrease their fatigue and injury chance. But the first year they're in is based fully on their statistics. And if they didn't play a lot, that first year could be a rough go of them. Subsequent seasons will slowly start to push them towards their actual performance in the league. Not 100%, but in other words, you're not going to get an exact conversion of how your guy actually played in the season. But you will get improvements and changes in their skills based on what they actually did throughout the season. So you could like maybe have that player do a lot more fitness training and durability training, and you slowly can increase their fitness and their availability. I think ultimately right now, this is the road I'm going. I'm going to go with an availability rate, which is what's going to be used for the most part. I'm holding these for potential later. Potential future. Um, and then we're just going, dang it. Why do you do that? And then we'll just comment these out. I don't need them right now because I'm not using them, but they are there for future usage. Now, I'm just going to kind of go down. I have things like uh, ball protection, which is a skill. This is their ability to not fumble. I don't know what else. I think it's just ball protection. I don't know what's it called. Ball handling. Um, that's basketball, right? Let's see. Man, I'm fixing a football player's ability to hold on to the football. I'm referencing a football player's ability to hold on to the football. Uh, we got to go see what's going on here. No, I could have swore I canceled that. Fix something. I'm leaning towards my. Am I streaming? I I asked that because ball security. The general term most commonly used in this to hold on to the ball security. Passing, catching, and controlling. Yeah, ball protection is sometimes used, but it's more often associated with techniques used to shield the ball from defenders. Huh. Oh yeah, ball protection is, just keeping, okay. So I'm doing two things at once here. So if my words keep stuttering, I wonder if it's happening. Hmm. I have to take care of this item here quick. Dang it. All right. All right. So I don't know. I guess I can. I'm just going to call it ball security. Yes. It's okay. It's okay because it conflicts. It conflicts with BP anyway. BP is also a term, so I'm gonna have to call it ball BSS BSEC something. I end them all with skill just so that you know it's a skill, but I may not. I mean, it'll probably just called BSEC on the actual players. I don't like terms. I what I'm going to try to do on my game, which I've noticed a lot of football games don't do, they have these abbreviations and they don't tell you what they are. It'll be like ACC, BCC, AGT. I mean, you can figure out some of them. It's like, oh, that must be agility or that must be hands. But some of the times it could be like CAT, catching, or hands, because hands could also refer to how well they hold the ball, how well they handle the ball. That's their hand skills. I mean, I don't know. Every team, every game could use a different terminology. Although I'm trying to use generalized terms. Um, it is. Notice that banks are stupid. You say pay it off, pay off balance, and then they charge you anyway for the next month. It's like, why did you charge me again? Like they give you, oh, this was the interest charge, but I paid the statement balance, which is supposed to pay it off. Well, that's fixed for now. I'm gonna have to do something like figure out how to use this somehow. Oh, this is. Hmm. Okay, well, all right. So we got. Sorry about that distraction. We'll be back to it here. All right, so let's go to the next. I'm done that ball security now. I think I have formulas for this. If not, I may have to recalc this. So ball security is a player's basically how many times do they fumble the ball out of how many attempts. It's really what it comes down to. Not much else to it. There's not. I mean, what else is there? I mean, this is a. This is fumbles. Even if they recover it, it's like their ball security is a little weak, right? So, um, now I believe my stats. What is this? Oh, look at my stats, past data here. Now this is the data I got from. This is stuff you can get from various stats companies, right? And this is the ones I got when I originally built my game. Not this game, but the game that I'm basing these statistics on, or these skills on. And this is just a bunch of pages of data. It you can get this all now, probably even more robust now than it used to be. I'm gonna have to figure out because they've changed how they do this. A lot of them. But these are essentially all fumbles. Let's see, lost, fumbles. Okay, so like this guy fumbled 10. Aaron Rodgers had 10 fumbles, lost 4, and I don't know, own recovered. Really, the lost and recovered doesn't matter. Okay, so this means nothing to me. All that matters is how many times did they fumble in the number. Now, ideally, it would be in the number of times that they actually handled the ball. So Aaron Rodgers fumbled 10 times, but he had the ball how many hundreds and hundreds of times? It's a lot of fumbles, but he had the ball a lot. Versus somebody like, this guy had no fumbles. Is his ball security good? I mean, you're gonna have a decent ball security if you had 0. You've never lost the ball, so why are you gonna be penalized? But if you only play a couple of games like this guy, look at him. Chad Pennington basically lost his job. 3 games, 3 fumbles. You're like, okay, dude, you're benched, man. That's what happened to him. 3 games, 3 fumbles. Pretty terrible. This guy had 4 games, 0 fumbles. Okay, so his ball security value would not be as good as a 16 games, 0. So I have to weight everybody. So if you get, like, maybe I have a baseline that says everybody's got a chance at fumbling the ball. Everybody will likely at some point in the future fumble the ball, but maybe they've only got like a 1 in 100 chance versus a guy who's. So if you're saying 1 in 100 is the best chance of not fumbling, then you've got to base it when other people like Darnell Being, who's 4 games played, 0 fumbles, he probably only handled the ball like 20 times. So you might give him a fifth of that 100 because he hasn't gone the distance. So we don't know his ball security, but we're not going to give him perfect ball security. He only played 4 games. We don't. I mean, the odds are a lot of these guys are going to fumble the ball. So you want to go by plays. And how do I get that? Well, I don't know that I would have to derive the number of plays that a guy is in the game. So this is kind of a misnomer. It's 10 fumbles, but Aaron Rodgers probably played every single offensive snap, which gave him a lot of plays. Now, there are ways to do this. I could go like, if he's a quarterback, I could go over here and probably find Aaron Rodgers. He made how many attempts, right? But that doesn't count. What, like Aaron Rodgers is here. He made 104 attempts, which means that don't even sound right. He only threw 104, only tried 104 passes. How come that doesn't sound right? I mean, that's not even, I can't even be close to right. Is that a season? Oh, that's 4th quarter. Okay. that would make sense. So that's 4th quarter passing. 104 4th quarter passes. Now, sometimes I go all in on some of this stuff. Now, do I consider ball security interceptions? That's completions and other things I can calculate towards that. I'm not going to worry about interception. It's calculated in, trust me. I mean, but remember, an interception is not solely QB. So the quality of a quarterback's throw will limit the opportunities for interceptions. But they don't throw interceptions so much as defenders make interceptions. They might throw a bad pass that goes right to the defender to make it an easy catch, and therefore it is his fault mostly, but the defender still has to catch the ball. So an interception is bad for the quarterback. It is his fault oftentimes, not always, but it's not really, it's more of just a bad pass. Now, I know it's calculated into ratings, but again, this interceptions implies, well, I'd have to say like decision making, right? So you're throwing a ball into a risky situation, or you're throwing it into a bad place. You're either a very bad pass or a very bad decision. And I could say that a bad pass might be 1, 2, 3 interceptions. But the fact is, if you're throwing stupid amounts of interceptions like this, who the heck is that? Jay Cutler, of course. He was one of those guys, good arm, but not the most QB smart. He got sacked 10 times through 8 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Boy, he was not a fourth quarter dude. He actually had a 73, which is pretty decent, really. That's a result of being behind a lot, though. Look, he had through 141 fourth quarter passes. So most of these guys that are throwing lots of fourth quarter passes generally means they're losing a lot. You know, Peyton Manning, 2009, only threw 109 times, but it's still good. Okay, so this stuff is all used, by the way, in a lot of my formulas, but it's not used here. The question is going to come down to how many. So I have games played, but that doesn't tell me anything. Positions, kickers, punting, punt returners. It's hard to say because they track rushing, but they don't track actual plays. All I can do is go by attempts, which is passing, but that doesn't take care of running plays. And running plays doesn't guarantee that it was that quarterback was the one handling the ball as on running plays. True, when they hand off the ball, they're probably not fumbling that often, but they do fumble, right? There is still fumbles in other plays. So it's difficult to know how many times a player is handling the ball. Now, a running back handles the ball as many times as he rushes or catches. So you can assume with other players how many plays that they handled the ball, and that's easier. But QBs are a little bit trickier because they don't really track. I mean, somewhere they do, but not in my stats. I don't have it. How many times they handle the ball when they weren't passing, because I'll show attempts when they pass. And I don't even know, does this count as, well, they were sacked. Okay, so it didn't actually throw the ball. But how do I individual passing, rushing, returns, fumbles, team passing, team rushing. Yeah, but again, you don't know who handed them the ball. It could be like maybe they started running a lot because their quarterback got hurt, so they brought in a second QB. So you can't give all those handling attempts to the second QB or to the first QB. So you don't know who's handing the ball off on these rushing plays. You just know they rush that many times. And this is how many times a player fumbled, but you got to guess on everything. Now, a lot of them is, like I said, a lot of this is going to be easy. I can get the the number of fumbles a player had. And for most players, QB, how do I do that? And what about what it's also, well, I guess rushing. I guess you can go look at like they have passes, individual rushing. Oh, Aaron Rodgers did attempt this many. So I guess you could base their fumbles off of just their pass attempts and their rush attempts, and not, just what does it do? So only 51. Oh, these are passes. All right, so 51 people threw balls. These aren't all quarterbacks necessarily. It could be other people. Like if you go look at attempts, well, no, these are probably all quarterbacks. It's interesting because there's no. I mean, wouldn't there have been other players at least once or twice? Running backs that threw the ball, receivers that threw the ball for various, trick plays or whatever. There'd be at least onesie, twosie stuff on here, you'd think. But I'm not seeing it. This one stops at 51. It's not every pass thrown. Interesting. I know there was trick plays that other people threw the ball. This guy only played 3 games. Charlie Fry. You got to wonder about some of these guys. He actually had, well, they were in 60s. I guess he was 60.9. That's not very good. This guy is only 51. How many interceptions do these guys throw? INTs. I guess that's quite a bit of interceptions. 6 interceptions. Drew Stanton threw 6 interceptions in 3 games with 51 passes. Holy moly. What is that? That's like a... What is that? Almost... I mean, it's not 10%. It's close to 10. It's like, whoa, that's more than 10%. That's like... Because 10% would only be 5 through 6. This guy threw like 11, 12% on his interception rate. It's actually what? 7? No, that's like, what is that? 17? 10% is 5. 6 should only be like, no, it's not 12. It's like 11. Not even 11%. It's 10 point something percent. Oh, here it is. Percent. 11.8. Okay. So 11.8% of his... That is insane. No wonder he only played 3 games. He just went out there and started throwing it to whoever. He only completed 26. So of his completions, he had nearly 20% of all his completions were to the other team. The fans must have loved those games. 1 out of every 5 times he threw the ball, it was to the other team. Oh, Drew. That was so bad. You know why he didn't have many? That must have been a brief time in. Who else had terrible? Of these other guys that didn't play much, there was pretty much nobody got anywhere near Drew Stanton's outcome there. That was just wow. I could do better than that. I guarantee you, I would not throw an interception 1 out of every 5 times I threw the ball. It just would not happen. I think that takes a special kind of skill to throw that many bad passes. Wow. I could see throwing 3, maybe 4 interceptions in a game myself. I don't know if it'd be every time, but that'd be because these guys are fast and quick, and I honestly I probably wouldn't even throw that many interceptions. I might throw a couple interceptions in a game, but I don't have the arm, so I'd be throwing a lot of short stuff, which means I mean I can throw 30, 40 yards tops with some accuracy, but yeah, I wouldn't. That means when you have short distance passing a lot, that does kind of bring more defenders in, increasing your odds of making bad passes. I'm at 583 attempts. That's crazy. I know I'm getting distracted by the stats. Stats are fun. Okay, so I need to figure out. I think what I'm going to do is just um, base ball protection on the number of fumbles from the fumble sheet, and we'll include it based on their attempts. That's times they handle the ball, which means receptions and rush attempts. Okay, so let's go see if I have. I'm pretty sure I have some kind of. Let's go look at my other sheet. This is my turnover calculator. Let's go look at what my turnover calculator is. Oh, I have a thing that's doing plays per turnover. So there is a plays calculator, which is probably doing exactly what I said. I see here I am trying to recalculate it in my mind, and I probably already have done all this. Let's go see. Let's see what I have here. Wide receiver. Man, I have a lot of stats on here. Oh, BPR, big play ratio. Fumbles gathered here. Well, my interesting formulas. It's like all this data here is these are all formulaic. So all these orange ones are formulaic. I don't know if this one is. Oh yeah, those are adjusted, so that's formulaic. They all have formulas behind them. Only the black rows are just straight data. This is just data from the spreadsheets. And then I have all these formulaic sub formulas, and I have no idea where these are, like play per turnover. I have that somewhere. It's here somewhere. I just have no idea where it is. Huh. Usually when you're in, I thought when you're in the cell, it highlights the cell that you're on. What? Wait, is that it? Oh, plays turnover ratio. Oh, okay, there it is. I just didn't see the blue border on it. Okay, so this is my formula here that's being used for this, which does a bunch of other stuff on the thing. So I got to convert this to it's funny when you hit escape, you got to be careful in your working in formulas because if you click on a thing, it'll like replace your logic. Oh, and then this one has like the fumbles they've done and oh, and then it gives them a minimum because they have to have a value. So if they have 0 fumbles, they get a 1, which is like the best you can do, right? And then there's a calculation that if not, it's the number of fumbles that they get. So you're always going to be credited with 1 turnover because you're never going to be perfect. Even if you're 0 and you're perfect. You could still go perfect in a season, but all that means is what is your chance of fumbling? And it just means there's always a chance. So even the guys that have, maybe you're only getting a decimal point chance and you may avoid it all year round, but it could also be you turn it over more. You never know. You have a couple shots at it. However many times you handle the ball is your chance. Most of these guys are some really low chance, right? It's like I have plays per turnover, and this is like whoever this guy is 0.74%. It's not even 1%. Most of these guys are less than 1% of the times they handle the ball, which isn't bad. And then some of them are higher, a little bit more, 1%. So the number of fumble divided by hands-on play. If fumbles equal 0, 2 to 1. So yeah, they're just getting some fractional percentage to have a chance at fumble. Because really what it is we're gonna be doing some kind of logic throughout the game to say, hey, was there a fumble? And I will be adjusting and tweaking all this stuff. This is why all of the values that I use, all my formulas have control values, which allows me to say, all right, this is too many fumbles, or this is not enough fumbles based on the times they handle the ball. It's unrealistic to expect a guy to fumble 20 times. I mean, he could be having a bad go. He's probably going to get benched if he's on that kind of a pace. But like even that one QB who's doing 20% of his passes were turnovers or intercepted, he's probably just not going to get a play very much. His ratio is still going to be, geez, 20%. That's crazy talk. Would I give him that? Probably, I would give him that. But if we have a guy who plays all the time, he's regularly in, and I'm still getting, 30, 40 interceptions, that's like way over, right? We got to get it down to where your best players rarely throw interceptions. They should consistently be, okay, interceptions are tricky, but fumble, okay, let's go by fumble. Interceptions are tricky because who do you test that against? You have to test it against a variety of defenders. Like you take the worst defenders and the best defenders, and you say, okay, well, have him run 100 times against this defender and 100 times against that defender with your best receiver, and then have it run 100 times with each of them with your worst receiver. And you just see how many times the QB throws, and have him just pass and see how good he is at not throwing an interception. Those are just test parameters, right? Because you're going to throw against different defenders. You're going to have other receivers to throw against. And I am planning, I hope to have AI for all of my stuff, AI logic. There's 2 kinds of AI that I really, 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 really want to try to see if I can build into the system. Now, AI is not always, large language model kind of AI. But it's basically decision making in that there's 2 kinds. There's one, receiver trying to find an open hole. That's routing or scouting, sorry. And then there's QB deciding who he's going to throw to. And what I want to do is put timer decision capabilities on these QBs. So the better QBs will be able to make those decisions faster. Remember, a computer can go look at everything, analyze everything, but I want to put fractional delays in time, like 0.1 seconds, 0.2 seconds, 0.3 seconds, something where it takes them that much longer to make a decision, to you basically put a delay on the decision whether or not to throw the ball at each spot. And better QBs might be able to derive the chance of completion better, basically knowing things like, I've got this chance, is there a better chance? That kind of thing. I know what my ability is. I've got a 80% chance to make this completion. Do I throw it? Maybe there's a better chance. Better QBs who can make quick decisions might look at other options, but each time that they do, they have to recalculate the next option. So how fast can they measure out all their chances and then choose one? And you got to have a margin of error that says, let's make that decision, because if you have an 80% chance here and then you go back and check, you got to come back and check again. Is it still 80%? You don't know, because players are moving. There's a different thing going on. There's a number of seconds that are passing through. This is why quarterbacks hold the ball so long. They go, I could probably make that, but let's go look over here. Oh, that one's even better. And then, oh, these guys are really covered up. I'll go back. Oh, he's not so good no more. I gotta decide. I'll toss it. It's like, you got to make those decisions, and then the receiver's got to be able to try to find a spot, and the defender's got to be able to stay with them and have a try at it. So there's a lot of things that have to be calculated. So those are the two AIs I really want to work: the scouting and the pass decision making. Other stuff is like, what kind of AI for blocking am I going to have? What kind of AI for just running with the ball? You have the ball. Are you going to try to avoid people? AI for tackling. Are we going to try to have it be smart enough to cut them off? That's the best kind of AI, right? Like, we know where he's going. I know how fast I am. Do some math to try to decide which direction I'm going to go in order to progress. So each time it's like, what's the best pursuit angle? That's AI computational logic right there. That's the stuff that you got to do when you're on the field, right? You got to decide, how do I cut him off? And a lot of times what you end up doing is, if you're pretty good, a person who's thinking pretty smart, you can't cut off too fast. If you're way faster than them, you're going to end up way up here. You're going to give him too many yards. If you cut straight at him, no matter how fast you are, you're still going to be chasing him because you cut straight at him. So the idea is to understand your own speed and their speed. And as you go at it, you probably should start curving a little sooner, but you're still going to run an arc, because you can't just run a straight line, because the odds are you're probably not that good at math. So it'll probably look like you're running pretty close to it, right? So you're coming at him, you're going to cut him off, but if he's really fast, you still end up kind of chasing him, but hopefully you get there before he can get away from you. The worse you are at making those judgments, you're either going to be chasing him a lot, or you're going to give him too many yards, because you're going to run up here and you're going to be waiting for him, and then he's going to try to lose you, So the idea is to kind of come right at him and be able to cut him off and understand your speed versus his. You can tell how fast a guy is moving. A lot of times your brain is smart enough to go, okay, well, he's going really fast. I need to change my angle. And hopefully you're curving before, so you can still have a chance of hitting him at the perfect meeting point. But, you don't want to be running sideways, I think. If you come up and then you're running sideways to try to meet him, that gives him a chance to cut underneath you. So it's really a perfect... cutting underneath you might be good enough to stop him, maybe not, I don't know, but it does make it harder. So those AIs, those are the three AIs. Two that are most important are the scouting and the QB passing. The other is tackle pursuit, right? Trying to run down the guy with the ball. And then you got to do things like AIs for the running. So you got to have something where the guy's making a decision as to whether or not he's going to try to dodge you, slip you, avoid you, or just try to outrun you and break the tackle. You know, players, what I don't want to do is give too much AI knowledge, right? Most players don't know. I mean, you might know this guy is really good, but you're not going to make a decision to avoid him based on how good you think he is at making a tackle, right? You're going to make a decision based on what's going to best give you a chance at avoiding the tackle, regardless of it. You assume they're going to make it a tackle attempt. What's your best chance? So you're going to hitch step, you're going to twist, you're going to sidestep, or you're just going to power through. Every player makes those decisions, and they don't care who's the guy they're going up against. I suppose if it's like you got, you know, Refrigerator Perry and Too Tall Jones, I'm going to name a lot of really old guys, but big guys, if there's a giant guy in front of you, you're probably not going to put your shoulder down and try to punch right through him, right? I mean, you wouldn't try to put your shoulder down and punch through a wall. You'd go around the wall. So that's a situation where your AI might be going, okay, this guy's gargantuan. I'm going to try to go around him because he's just way bigger than me. I can't knock him over. But if you're a 250-pound muscle head and you're going up against a 280, 300-pound dude, you might try to push him out of the way. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of AI decisions that need to be made, but it also depends on where you're out in the field, right? Are you trying to get extra yards, or are you going for a touchdown break, or are you just trying to get that last inch? If you just need to get to a certain point for first down, or you're trying to get the most out of a potential kick for field goal, you might just dive. You know, I mean, you realize it doesn't matter at this point. You know, you're going to lunge for every inch you can get. You might just step out of bounds. Okay, well, the important thing is I've got these yards. I don't want to lose a fumble. I don't want to take a chance. So there's decisions to be made there. So there's a lot of considerations for an AI to go, hey, Karama, how's it going, man? You have been consistent and showing up. I appreciate your coming by and saying hi. I'm just talking about my formula logic for all the formulas I'm working on, and what different AIs I want to build in, which, you know, that stuff comes later after I finish building all of my skills, but it's all the parts involved. So I've been going over my ball handling skill, which this is what the AI put in, so this is not the logic here. Huh. I don't have pass attempts. See, these stats are all broken, which is kind of interesting. AI actually put this together for me. It's not the best logic because I don't believe ball security in terms of interceptions is not really a thing. Fumbles is what I'm talking about. So I don't blame. That's a different kind of ball security, right? That's passing intelligence, QB intelligence, awareness, whatever you want to call for the logic that's going to apply there. Poor decision making, whatever. That's not the same kind of ball security. Ball security is when you're holding it, the only time it leaves your hand is when you intentionally get rid of it. That's ball security. So fumbles. That's really all it is fumbles. Once you've got it, it's yours. And the idea is how many times have you fumbled in the number of times you've handled the ball? Unfortunately, I don't have the number of plays for most players. For quarterbacks, I have pass attempts, rush attempts, and receptions, which is fine. That's pretty much it. And that's why I thought this was impressive that the AI actually got this. Now, these are the wrong stats. These are not the actual stats in my system. And I do some weighting on things because, again, that's just how many times have they done it. They're doing their fumbles. See, I don't, like I said, I don't count interceptions. That's not ball security. That's a different problem. Interceptions are bad for a quarterback, yes. But really an interception is an incompletion, right? It's you threw the ball. Interception just kind of ups the mistake level. So you may have thrown a bad pass that was incomplete. So the quarterback receiver could have dropped it, could have just been wide over his head. But I mean, you got to think about it. A pass that's so bad that it's over a guy's head by 3 feet or off to the left or way behind him is just as bad as pass as most interceptions. It's literally no worse a pass. It's just that it was less good in that there was a defender there that managed to catch it, or maybe a guy dived at it or whatever. You still threw a terrible pass. It just there was a defender there who also was managed to catch it. A bad pass that bounces off the defender's hands or off his chest is just as bad as one he intercepted because you still threw a terrible pass. Do you get knocked for ball security because the defender failed to catch the ball? No. That's not a ball security issue. It's a bad decision in both cases. You shouldn't have thrown that ball, or you should have thrown better. You got 4 defenders. You know, it's funny because if you got 4 defenders, 1 receiver, and the receiver catches the ball, the QB's like, everybody says, oh, did you see him? He threaded the needle. He got it right to him. It was a perfect pass. Nobody complains about it. If he drops the ball, nobody catches it. You say, oh, that was a dangerous pass. That was risky, but got away with one. And then you got the interception. He goes, he should never have thrown that ball. He should not have done it. Why did he throw it into the crowd? You don't ever hear him say that when the ball is caught. You don't say, oh, he should never have thrown the ball. That ball should not have even been considered. But wait a minute. He caught the ball. It's like, the commentators don't consider, they see the result and that's what they go on, right? So if you have a game-winning pass into a terrible location. He threaded the needle or he got lucky, blah, blah, blah. But if it was intercepted, why did he throw that ball there? He should have just thrown it. He could have thrown it to anyone else in the field and at least had a chance. But no, they don't. Passes are only as good as the result, right? They're only as good as the result. It don't matter if the ball is caught. Nobody knocks the QB for making a bad. It could have been because a spectacular catch by the receiver, or it could have been because it bounced off of a defender's hands, flew up in the air, and the receiver caught the ball. QB gets credit for the catch, and they're just saying, "Ooh, did you see that amazing catch and focus?" Blah blah blah. But there's no knock against the QB for throwing a pass so bad that it had to bounce off of a defender to get to the receiver. There's no credit for that, and that's all stuff that's never. There's really no tracking for tipped balls that end up in the defender's hand or the receiver's hands. And there's really no tracking for tipped balls that end up in the defender's hands either. Now, I think there is a tracker for tipped balls. There's probably something now where they say, okay, well, he had this many balls that were deflected or tipped or whatever. Now, I don't know if they used to track that or whether or not they've always tracked that. But it is what it is, right? Now you can see it's 11:30 and I'm already drinking my Ghost. I started drinking this at 10:30. I'm addicted. I mean, I'm not drinking them all day long, but I'm starting to get to that point where I feel like I need one every day. Just needed to flush the gunk out of my head. And it does do a pretty good job of that. All right, let's finish writing this down. Okay, so I took out interceptions. It's not something I do. And this makes sense, you know, total touches. But I got to fix these stats because these are totally wrong. So where am I getting these? And I also have weightings. I have to have a skill, but it's got to be weighted, and I have weightings on my. I'm about to throw my dog out of this room. She is back here farting, and she's way in back there. And she's gassing the whole room. My eyes are starting to fog, and it's driving me nuts. I'm gonna. Dog. Ugh. She wasn't sleeping. I feel bad, but that's when she's doing it mostly. She's farting daylights while she sleeps. Ugh. Killing me. I told her, I yelled at her earlier that if she does it again, I'm going to kick her out of here, and she keeps doing it. I know she'll leave pretty soon just because she'll wake up pretty soon, need to go to the bathroom or something, and then I'll kick her out and I won't let her back downstairs. Well, I won't kick her out. I'll let her go upstairs, and then I won't let's get another formula or two done. I got to stop distracting myself. Okay, so let's go find the formula I actually used. And we're going to do, I got to get these stats from, I have these are all, I got to go look at my stats sheet, source sheet. I think it's just called fumbles. Or player fumbles or something like that. Turnovers? Nope, it's called fumbles. Okay, so we're going to get it from the sheet called fumbles. And call it attempts. Now, I don't know that this is just attempts. This could be of all the times they have the ball. Oh no, this doesn't. Oh no, that's the number of fumbles. Oops. Nope, this is coming from fumbles. And this is actually called the stat value is called fum. This is how it'll be imported, or how it is imported into my into the system. Okay, so that's that, and then I have to go here. We're gonna go into end rushing. This is end rushing. And this is going to be ATT. And then individual. I have an end rushing 1 and 2. Does that mean I literally have 2 pages of this? What is the other one? Oh, whoa, what is this? Okay, so I don't know what all these stats are. Look at this one. This is end rushing. And that's end rushing 2, and this is end rushing. I think what I did was this is how it came in. That's got receiving in it. This is like just general stats. I may have gotten this and then I broke it out into end rushing. I don't know why I have end rushing 2 though. Makes this, I'm just taking these out because I want that. Makes it hard to sort. I will be re-importing all my data. I've got my imports working right now, but I keep cleaning up the data to make it less problematic. Oh my god, geez, I got a lot of these. It's like I must have been grabbing them from something. And I just pasted them in here to keep getting all the data combined. So if that is, so then it goes to REC. See, I think this here is a break point. Let me show this in a different page. Pop out or new window or something. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna compare these two and see how they look. How do they compare? Okay, so these are totally different pages. This is like an overall. I'm gonna sort these. Go formula for data, I guess. I'm gonna say sort. Expand, yeah. I'm gonna go by. Yeah, this. See, and then this doesn't even work. Yeah, some of these don't even have. I need names on everything. All right, so we got Aaron Brown, 15 games, 27 attempts, yards 131, yard average 4.9, long 19, TD 0, yards per game 8.7, and then that's 1, 2. So this is, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's really only 8 fields. So he only started in 2 games. But he attempted 27 runs in 2 games. But he was available for 15 games. But this one has like extra stuff. So that's yards per game. This is what, adjusted or average yards per? This is yards per attempt, 4.9, which really isn't that bad. 27 attempts, he averaged 4.9 yards. That's actually really good. Almost 5 yards. I mean, Barry Sanders in his career only averaged, well, he averaged 5, I think, 5.0 or something like that, which is really high. That's like superstar capable. Now, that's career average, though, right? this guy, you know, he only did it for the 2 games he played, apparently. But 1.8. Is that 1.8 yards per game? Because he was available for 15 games? That's not fair. That's like, what? I only played in 2 games. You can't give me a 1.8 average? That's not. Yeah, I think that's yards per game, average per game. I think that's almost like a throwaway stat. It's interesting, but if you didn't play in every game, that's not a fair stat. That's not a good stat to even use. If you only played in 2 games, but you were available for 16, so they give you credit for all 16 games. All right, so all right, that's not true. I mean, so he may have played in all 15 games, split 27 attempts out over all those, but only started in 2 of them. So yeah, 1.8 might be what he got in the game, but really, he was a pretty consistent runner. Right? I mean, it's showing him getting 8.7. So basically, it means he didn't play in every game. So 8.7 yards per game. These links don't do anything, by the way. I'm pretty sure they don't actually do anything. I'm gonna click it. Oh, they do work. I mean, if I had my StatsPass login, I do not, because it's really old. But they do actually go to StatsPass. I don't even have. I wouldn't even have any idea about what my StatsPass login was when I did it, because this is forever ago. But so they do go somewhere. My concern is yards per game. The only one that matters, I'd imagine, is yards per attempt, because that's all I care about. I mean, statistically speaking, yards per attempt is the one that's going to be most useful. If you're averaging 5 every time you touch the ball, that's pretty good. Yards per game and average per game, that comes down to whether or not you get to play. I mean, he only had a 20-yard gain. His longest is 20, which means it's not like he ran off a 70, 80-yard run and that skewed it. 19 is not that long of a run. So if he's averaging 5 in 27 attempts, even if you take, I mean, what? Yeah, I think he's actually a pretty good running back, Aaron Brown, for that season. Anyway, I know I'm totally getting distracted again. Let's continue onward. I just wanted to see how these 2 pages. This one's probably easier to use, but it's got all the same stuff. I imagine it's the same set of players. It's got receiving stuff on it too, though. This one I can get everything from, because I've got, or not this one, but this one, because this one has receptions on it too. So I could basically take everything just from. What I should probably rename this to is receiving and rushing. This one has an extra average per game, but this one has more stuff. Stuff. I mean, I know what stuff is, but these aren't defensive stats. This is normally on first down. He had 7 on first. First down percent 25.9. So he ran 10 plus yards. He had 7 10 plus yards runs. It's not bad. On first down, he got the ball on first down 7 times. I think 6 is your stuff. How many times you lost yards? That's pretty important. So again, that's not really related to what I'm doing, but um, but I feel like I could get these stats. This doesn't have those, but this is pretty important. This is so I will have both these stats. I can pull them from different sources. Some of my stats will be in multiple pages. I think I'm just going to pull everything I need for this from the end rushing. I don't know if I want to call this end rushing though. What so I have an end passing 2 and 3. Let's go see what that one does. So I got individual passing 2 and 3. So this pretty much looks like end rushing. Looks like end rushing. Oh, this one actually shows their position. That's good. Data sort. And then, so this one is, and this one we can remove the filter. I'm just trying to figure out how these all differ. Oh, these are not. Oh, oh, it's TD interception ratio. That's weird. Let's fix this. I must not be using this anymore. I was. Interesting that they have broken down. So, in case you're wondering, the difference between yards at catch and YAC and at, one is when they catch the ball, how many yards is it? So maybe they're averaging or catching the ball on the average. It's yards at catch per reception. So they're averaging 6.4 yards down the field. But yards after catch is 5.6 per reception. So he's averaging probably 11 yards per catch. But he's generally catching it at about 6.4 yards. That's what that's saying. So that's actually pretty good. So when he gets the ball, he's good for another 5.6 yards a carry. That's per catch. That's pretty good. Oops. What did I do? Didn't realize that those guys are all in the top cell, and the bottom cell was the bonus cell. Yep. That's stupid. Means I gotta go down here, here. These are like merged cells. Why am I doing this, you might ask? Because I need my data source to be clean when I re-import again later. And I do have data in, but I don't know what SK is. SAC? Is that SAC? It's SAC's percentage? That's kind of weird. Why would I have that for receptions? The abbreviations are really annoying because they don't like explain what they are. Okay, so now I have everything, I think. Oh, I didn't see that. So I gotta delete this because I messed up the these guys. Now we're fixed. All right, so what we have here is I can't be Sack, right? Because Matt Schaub, is he a QB? Oh, Peyton Manning. He is a that's individual. Oh, that's individual passing. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. This is passing. And this is passing. Why do we have 3 individual passings? Are they different data? So Matt Schaub's, or wait, oh, it just must be multiple QBs because this one starts off with Matt Schaub. Oh, this one not filtered, not sorted. All right, so we got Aaron Rodgers, Rogers, Alex Smith. Okay, so what is the difference here? Pop these out too. All right, so these are exactly the same. Yards, catch, yards, 30. Why do I have duplicate data? $51. Yep. I don't even need this page. Delete that. All right. So I don't know what. Now these are slightly different, I think. Yeah, these are different. I don't know how they're different or what they're doing differently. Yeah. So we got completion. This one says what position they are. This is 77. They're all QBs. But absolutely nobody in the season throw. Nobody in the season threw a pass other than QB. That seems broken. That's not right. There's always somebody who does a trick play pass in a season. "2009 was the year." No, I don't think so. So we got attempts, completions, which is weird. They're not in the same order. Percent, yards average, TD percent, different. Yard passes over 25 yards. That one's 20 yards. So these are like different. That one's 20 yards plus. That's 40 yards plus. This is 25 yards plus. On first downs, I don't know what that means. 36%. What? Completion percentage? On first down, or does that mean they got first downs? They threw 197 first downs. First down percent. Oh, it's 36% of their passes got first downs. It's really good. 1 out of every 3 passes was good for first down. So I guess it's not that much, but well, yeah. I mean, it says first down percent, 36.9. 197 first downs. Yeah, I guess. No. Oh. That's 36% of all their attempts were first downs. That's really high. It's 40%. Look at that. Who's that? Drew Brees. Ah, my man. Drew Brees. Tell you, man, Drew Brees is the ultimate underrated QB. Everybody talks about all these other quarterbacks: Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, whatever. Name them. Name your QB. They all talk about these guys like they are the greatest QBs of all time. Drew Brees, nobody ever mentions Drew Brees. Statistically speaking, Drew Brees was probably the best quarterback ever. Statistically, if you don't count things like winning the Super Bowl, because yes, hold on for all those people out there going, oh, see, there's the point. Yeah, it's like, duh, what do you mean you can't count winning the Super Bowl? You can't count winning the Super Bowl because that is not one man. Yes, he had a big part of it. But if Drew Brees was quarterbacking the same team as Tom Brady in all those games, they would have been an unstoppable force, even more so, considering how good Drew Brees was. Drew Brees did not have, many of those years that Drew Brees was running up his stats, he was like the best completion percentage, most touchdowns, first downs, points, whatever. I mean, he had so many stats that were just better than all those guys. But New Orleans often had terrible defenses. And he was trying to carry these teams that were just bad. And they would be scoring a ton, but they couldn't get anywhere because their defense would give up so many passes. So if you're averaging 3-4 touchdowns a game, which is spectacular, by the way. I mean, that would be insane. I don't think he was quite that good, but 3 was probably pretty close at times. And then thousands and thousands of yards. But your offense is hamstrung by the fact that your defense can't stop the other team. So they were winning a lot of games or losing games, scoring 30 points. They'd score 30 points thanks to Drew Brees, but they'd be losing a good chunk of those games and not making playoffs, not winning that big game because they give up too many freaking points. But that's not his fault. He was losing games, scoring more points than Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or whatever. He'd be losing games, scoring more points than them. It means he was doing his freaking job as a great quarterback should, but he can't do anything about a bad defense giving up the points to lose the games. And all those guys, if they scored only 17, 18, 19, 20 points, their defenses would help them out. Oftentimes playing good enough to keep the other team just below. So if they would score less, their defense would still be in there. Not New Orleans. He'd score 20 or 21 points and they'd lose by 14 or lose by 7 or lose by whatever because their defense would give up the games. A lot like the Broncos have been playing over the last 10 years. Well, last year wasn't too bad, but since the Super Bowl, Denver just had a lot of other problems too, but there was a lot of games where I'd be watching them. Their defense, everybody say how good Denver's defense was, but they'd only be good for 4/5 of a game. So they'd be winning by a touchdown or 10 points in the last 6 points of a game, last 6 minutes of a game, and they'd lose because the defense would decide, we got this, and they'd give up points and points and points and points again, and it's like, oh God, it just hurt so bad to watch Denver would give up those wins. That was most common. It seems most common, like in the last few years. They've had a lot of that where their defense was getting better, but they'd keep losing by just a little bit. It's like Russell Wilson. Okay. I give him that. The year before Bo Nix, the year before last, he actually had a pretty good season. I mean, it was a good season, but Denver just was on the wrong side of close games. They kept losing by just a little bit. And if any half of those games, I mean, I'm talking about like less than 7 points or 3 points, whatever, even just by, they were just close games that it would always be just a little off. Now, to say he was doing pretty good was to say that Denver was getting up into that 20-point range and losing games like by just a little bit, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the defense was not good enough to compensate for the adequate offense. Last year things started kind of going their way a little bit, and they were actually starting to score more than their opposition because the defense still pretty good last year. This time the offense was actually scoring more. So I give credit for Russell Wilson keeping those games close and giving us a chance, but it was still not good enough. Last year is starting to be good enough. We'll see how it goes this year. Hopefully better. Anyway, so in looking at these particular stats, I don't know what all these are. I don't know what SK is. I'm guessing it's sacks. I don't know what LST, long. What would that be? 306. He had 2 83-yard passes. Is long. But what is LST? Long. He had 306 of LST. Lost? He lost 306 yards? That don't sound right. Let's see if I can figure it out from these other guys. Brian Leftwich. He never lost any 0 yards. We have Ben Roethlisberger, 348. It can't be lost yards, right? 306 lost yards on sacks? That doesn't sound right. That's a lot of freaking lost yards. I mean, he was sacked 50 times. So maybe it is right. Wow. What is that? That's about little over 6 yards per sack. I guess that's realistic. Maybe that is lost yards. Yards lost on sacks. I guess that makes sense. Large yards lost on sacks. So you always have lost yards on sacks, right? I mean, even if it's 0 is the best you can ever do. You're never going to have well, you can't have a positive sack. So every sack is bad, is negative. I mean, you can have a negative rush to offset some of your positive rushes, but you can't have a positive sack. So they're all 0 or negative. The closest thing to a positive a sack can be is 0. And even then, I debate whether or not you can even call it a sack when it's 0 yards. So the fact that this guy got sacked twice and had a 0 lost yards is debatable if those are even sacks, in my opinion. Because he got back to the line of scrimmage both times. Both times. Because if either one of them were negative, he'd have a negative yards here. That's all there is to it. He'd have a number because you can never have a positive. You can't offset your sacks. They're always negative. So the fact that this guy got back to the line of scrimmage 2 times, good on you, dude, because that's really like you're the only person in history to get sacked multiple times and never lose a yard. That's pretty good. That has got to be a rare feat. Even at 2, the odds are if he'd have got sacked a 3rd time, he would have had negative. I don't know anybody who's ever been able to get sacked even 2 times and never lose and not have any total yards lost. I mean, it's not impossible. Obviously, somebody's done it. But if you could have 0 yards lost on 3, 4, 5, I think you're starting to venture into amazing zone. I mean, like the odds of having, being sacked 5 or more times and getting 0 yards lost have got to be astronomical. Because that would be every freaking time you got back to the line of scrimmage, and still counts as a sack, which to me is still, like I said, it's debatable if it should even count as a sack. I think maybe these were lost yards. Maybe they actually did count them and there's actually inches. They just don't round up to 1. So, like, he was just short. Like, he lost 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, a foot. But when you round it off, it's less than 0.5 of a yard in total. So maybe he lost 1 the first time, and then maybe he lost 2 feet on 1 and got back to the line of scrimmage 100% or minus like 1 inch, and then it averaged out to less than half. So he ended up with a 0 because it rounded down. That's all I can figure. Anyway, so that is different, slightly different from that one. I don't even know where I got these two. I feel like the stats are like similar stats from different sources. I mean, they both have links, but let's see if that's the case. That one goes to, oh, see, yeah, these are different sources. This is NFL.com. This one here is StatsPass. Okay, so yeah, they are different sources of the same basic data. And this I can actually see. If you go to NFL.com, it's funny, it just brings you to this page, though. It's not the same year or anything. It doesn't actually give you that. His rating was 103. It does take you to the passing page for 2024. How far back does this go? Oh, this goes back far. This goes back way far. Huh. There's your fumble sheet. And this to me doesn't matter. I think if you fumble, you fumble. So, I don't think there's such a thing as, it's not better. How many guys? Okay, so this guy, are these defensive plays? I think these are defensive plays because this is forced fumbles, fumbles recovered, and fumbles for TDs. That's not actually fumbles. This is not how many times this player fumbled. This is how many times they actually made somebody fumble. And then they recovered and got TDs. It's a different stat altogether. We go to rushing. This will probably show you how many times they actually fumbled. Rush fumbles. How many times did you have receiving fumbles? Receiving fumbles. Huh. Doesn't matter to me if they're rushing or receiving. Once you have the ball, it's all rushing, in my opinion. So it's like you got the ball. It's like at that point, protect the freaking thing, man. It doesn't matter. Oh, but I did it on a pass reception and I've never fumbled otherwise. It's like, then you fumbled because it doesn't matter when you did it. Hey, I did it. All right, so we got individual rushing, and then I have to go here, and I'm going to have to take that from, I guess, individual passing or receiving, which is, I think, the same one I was just, you know what? I may have actually just been individual rushing and close this one. Go data. This one was individual passing, which I don't really, that doesn't have any fumbles on it. It has interceptions, but I don't care. Individual receiving, individual defense, individual receptions. Let's see how these are different. Probably the same kind of thing as the rushing ones. One of these is NFL.com probably. See how statistically close these are for number of players. 435. Yeah, 446. Some of these guys they didn't really do anything. Percent yards. So this Zach Potter guy had one pass thrown to him. He caught it for 3 yards. Never saw the ball again. This guy had one pass to him. He missed it and never saw the ball again. That was your one chance, dude. That year. Poor throw. And it was a bad throw. It wasn't even his fault. The ball was thrown bad, and he couldn't catch it because it was a crap throw. 100% of all the balls thrown to him were crap, but he never got a second chance. I go, yeah, dude. I don't know. You run funny. You run in zigzags. Quarterback can't get the ball to you. Hey, Treasure Rat. I'm doing all right. How you doing? I'm analyzing my source data a little bit so I can kind of tell which ones are going to provide me the data for my formulas as I'm working through them. I have no idea what other is. What the heck is other? What am I supposed to do with other? Other. He's got one other, and then he's got one other at 1.8. What the heck is other? Intent. What is intent? Intentional? He intentionally dropped it for 6.7 yards. And I have no idea what some of these stats are supposed to be. Intent. Intentional, intended. No, it's not intended because that would be wrong. But there's not very many intentional. This guy intentionally did whatever 4 times for 2.3. I imagine it's average per intent. It's not very many intents. I mean, these guys doing there's 1 to 4 intents. I have no idea what those are though. Gotta wonder what some of these stats are that these guys have. This one hit at line 1 time. These guys haven't been hit at line. I don't know what hit at line means. This is receptions. Oh, that must be like they were bumped. Bump and run kind of thing. You hate what? You hate this? Why? What is the problem? You hate what I'm doing? You hate my spreadsheets? Oh, I hate this. Are you talking about the intent thing? Oh, your homework. Yeah. Are you doing a programming homework? Decompress the back every now and then. Oh. You hate math? I liked math. I guess it depends on the math. If it's geometry, I'm with you because geometry is a stupid math. I don't know why they ever created it. I know what the purpose of geometry is. I just think how geometry works is stupid. Math, the way they teach geometry is stupid. That's what I'm saying. Or the way they used to teach geometry. Maybe nowadays they don't teach it stupid like that anyway. Because geometry is one of those things that is like formulaic. You know, you have nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. One piece that matters, nonsense, nonsense. It's like, why? And then if you don't write the garbage stuff, they used to give you bad grades for it. Oh, sorry, that's not the appropriate first line of a geometric formula. It's like, but that's not even the line that matters. The only thing that matters is the line in the middle. Yeah, that's just all I remember. That's all I always remember about geometry. My entire life's mental definition of geometry is those formulas. Everything else, it was fine, I guess. I mean, angles and stuff's kind of cool the way that worked, but just the formulas were stupid. Oh, Brett Favre, was he still playing in 2009? Holy moly, I didn't know he was still playing in 2009. Oh, that was a reception. He got a pass thrown to him, and he caught it for -2 yards. That must have been fun. Here, throw it to me. Bam, bam. He caught it, went down. That was it. -2 yards. All right, Brett. Can't even get past the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to being the quarterback. I don't know what intent is. I'm going to dump these 2 rows. I don't have any idea what other are. I couldn't even guess what other are. Some kind of weird reception stat. And some of these guys have more of them than others. I mean, what the heck? One. You sent a word. I sent a word, but you need to check it. You sent a word? I don't know what word. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, didn't go through. Well, it's going to be hard for me to check it. What didn't? It doesn't show. Usually it'll tell me when something got filtered. unless it was just really bad. Usually I'll get like a little pop-up that says, hey, don't use this kind of thing or some kind of, oh, yeah, there may be some words that um, it just filters them out. It doesn't even bother. It just like completely filters them, doesn't even bother to tell me. And I could probably go into my Twitch or Restream or whatever, and it'll probably tell me how many times it filtered words, but it won't tell me what and why they were filtered. Best just don't use those words. So, ah, okay, that works. It got through, so it's not checking. I wonder if you could do like S asterisk asterisk asterisk. But S works. I could figure out that. I mean, context does everything there. But yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Now, some filters I think will actually will instead of filtering them, they will mask them. So if you get any of those weird things, it'll like give you the first letter and purposely put in asterisks. So you let it through, but it doesn't show up. And to me, I prefer just to filter them out because you're still letting it through. Family friendly. If without putting the asterisk, you can just somebody might be able to say that drives me bat scary crazy. bat slippery crazy. It drives me bat sexy crazy. You go all in. Let your mind wander, but you'll never know because there's no hints. All right, so let's. All right, so I did that. What is this sheet 2 thing? I still don't know what sheet 2 is supposed to be. That must have been another one that I was trying to group stuff together. Oh, wait. I must have been just trying to put together the full. Wait, this is like two different. This is like two different sheets of stuff. What the heck? I don't even know what this top part is. They don't even look like they come together. What is this page? Holy moly, I don't even know what this is. This is like a mixed mash of stuff. Ugh. What was I doing? This doesn't even have headers on. Oh, wait. Is there supposed to be a header here? I must have been just trying to. I don't know what I was doing with this page. What was I thinking? It doesn't even have all the teams. It only has like half the teams. What the heck is gross? Completion percentage gross. How far is it? Oh, okay. So let's see. Where am I? I've been doing a lot of back end stuff lately. I got earlier this week. I got all my player data imported. So that's most of these statistics you see. I have to re-import it, but I've got the logic now to because I want to re-import it just for cleanup. Because now that I've fixed a few of the sheets, kind of make the sheets look a little bit better. Honestly, what I'll probably end up doing is having to copy this thing, pulling it into the other sheet again, and having it re-imported. But that's fine. So I've been kind of cleaning my data a little bit, and I've been working on the formulas. Now the formulas are kind of the key back-end stuff, right? That's the stuff that's gonna have my guys be able to throw the ball, complete the ball, run with the ball. Everything that they're gonna do throughout a game is gonna be based on their skills, and those skills will be what a game uses to do skill checks throughout every aspect of the game based on whatever they do. They can catch the ball, they can avoid tackles, lose defenders, or stay with offensive guys, intercept. All that stuff is going to be based on their skills. And I already have my logic that I spent months and months deriving for my players. Now, why do my oh weird. Oh, that's pumping turns. So I have all this logic that I developed years ago for how to deal with all of my stats. And these are my base formulas for skills for some of the players, but I have it for QBs and everybody else, my CBs, defenders. They all have their stats. So what I'm doing now is taking these logic stats and turning them into Go formulas here. And as I convert them all into Go formulas, that makes it so now that I can actually run through a play and do all of the stuff necessary to actually run a play from beginning to end. So I'll have players, I'll be able to start running play simulations. Now on the front end, the other thing I did last week was I built the front end model for what's going to be passed to the UI, and then the UI can render the play. So it's basically the end result model of a play. That's the whole iteration of everything that happens. So now I'm doing the piece that's going to make up that play log. So I'm working my way forward from that, which is the plays, the player data, the skills, and then after I get all the skill formulas created, I have to create the skill checks that are going to happen throughout a play. So that's player progress, player movement, based on their speed and their skill checks. So I have all these things that can happen in a play, and I'll do all the skill checks, which will determine how the players advance and move on the field, creating the play log. The play log will then be taken and rendered on the UI. So I'm getting closer to being able to start working with and creating the play rendering from back to front. So we're getting there. What I'll need to do after I get all of my back end, my skills, and my skill check capabilities in place to run a play is I will have to do the next big thing. We'll be creating an interface to add players to an individual's teams. So that would be like right now, there's just the players that the system has and all the skills that they will have when they come into and get added to a team. So when I add them to individual teams, like I said, I'll create a UI that somehow I have to decide how I'm going to do this. I haven't got the full machinations of what's going to happen there. And that's a whole big chunk of the actual gameplay engine, how the player gets their players, how are they going to get them on their team. And I have been going kind of back and forth on this, but ultimately I'm thinking it's a draft or an auto draft that comes through a league. So you're going to be able to pick your players to some extent under a very simplified draft. So you're going to be able to either pick your own players or auto draft them, your choice, which means the system will either pick your players for you or you're going to pick them. You'll get a small pool of players to pick from, and you're going to basically be able to play a season, adding players to your team, starting with the base players. You're going to draft. It'll be a no injury season. Your first season will be a no injury season, unless you want it to be, but then that's high risk, right? Because you need to get players on your team. Maybe you'll be given a certain amount of money to go pick up players if you get injured. I don't know, but you're only going to get 22 players. The first 22 players, or 24 players, sorry, you're going to have a full offense, a full defense, a kicker, and a punter. And hold on, I gotta go let my dog out. I had to fix my dog gate so they don't try to come back downstairs. So that's what took me long. All right. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So we're progressing. Things are moving along. Back end stuff is the heart and soul of it all. The front end stuff is the appearance. And I've decided that I need to get the heart and soul working before I worry about the appearance. And I keep dressing up and improving. And even if the game is 100% functional in the back end, then I have a game, right? So then it's just putting together the UI that's going to consume it. And that I could do, I don't know about quickly, but I can get a basic consumption of everything in there. Pretty easily. I want to say easily, quickly. I don't know. But that means I can actually have a game. So if I can get my full back end doing whatever it's supposed to do, yeah, I'll be changing it, updating it, upgrading it, making it better. But ultimately, it's going to come down to I have to have the back end done. So even though that's not the fun part, people want to see the cool visuals. You can't have cool visuals without a functional back end. So let's get back to it. And individual receptions. This one's going to be, I think, IND receptions. And this is just REC. Pretty sure, anyway. Pass attempts. This could be where I guess that could be used because that's another chance to fumble the ball. AI is pretty good sometimes about coming up with some basic knowledge stuff. This is simple stuff. I have weights though that this won't have, and I'll be putting those in a minute. That's pass speed. We got individual passing. Where's individual reception? Okay, so yeah, it's REC and it's IND receptions. IND. REC, is that capital? I have to go I have to compare to exact case because I'm guessing. I could be wrong actually. I don't know if it's going to lowercase them or not. Guess I should go look, huh? Let's go look up. How do I need to get me a query tool for Mongo database. Can I use? I've never really used the MongoDB Compass very much. Opened it a couple times. The FFM. Oh, I have to use a connection. Oh, I don't even remember what my connection. I gotta go look up my connection string. Hold on, I gotta connect myself here. Been a while since I've actually had to connect to this. What? What do you mean? Failed. Not. It's not allowed. That one. Okay, got it. Now, um, I know SQL Server. What I don't know is how this works with SQL Server. Can I just write SQL to do it? Um, I don't know. I don't know how this. I have never used MongoDB SQLing, so we're gonna find out. My queries. Save queries. Okay, so let's go. There's stats import. There's source stats. I don't know. Source stats and oh, this is the imports. Oh, okay, so that's like the one I imported. Okay, so this is my thing. All right, so now I need to go try and create a query somehow. How do we do this? Let's go to update, delete, generate query. Oh, okay. Let's go see. Generate query. What is that? Select. Yeah. Hmm. I want to go with end reset. What is this one? End receptions. Stats. End receptions. Who? Why isn't it just end receptions? Huh. Why did not end receptions go? Yeah, it's very query. Just want to see. Really, Atlas users can now quickly create queries and aggregations with MongoDB's intelligent AI-powered feature available today in Compass. Log into Atlas. I don't think I have. I don't know what Atlas is, to be honest. What the heck is Atlas? Okay. All right. Um, all right. So give me all the users, all the players with more than 2 drops in the let's say 2009 year. See how smart this is. Let's see how smart this Atlas is. This is a natural language query for this. I'm curious how well it is. Now there's 2,000 records in here, which is a lot, but it's not a lot. So it shouldn't take that long with generating the data. Let's see how well it's able to figure this out. I think this is too general. Probably struggling. It's probably looking somewhere in all my code for drops. And some of these guys, a lot of these records don't have no drops in it. It's like, okay, so it's looking for drops. Like, oh, sure, throw a tough one at it. It's like, I don't think it's going to figure this out. All right, I get it, Atlas. This is over your head. Ultimately, I was just trying to see. These aren't alphabetical at all. No way to. I don't even know what these. What is this? Oh, can I just sort on this? Not exactly. Position. Huh. The JSON view. This is a thing, but can't really do anything with it. Like what it said. Oh, allows me to reposition it. That's not necessarily the most helpful. So, remove. Can I decide what's showing even? Because if that's the case, I got like 1,000 things on here. Oh, nope, I guess I don't. Oh, I have a stats object. All right, so let's go to, oh yeah, 25. Plus it only shows me 25. And since these aren't alphabetically placed, can I do Brian Hoyer? Where's Brian Hoyer? Brian. Nope. I don't know who he must be a defensive player. I was just looking for. How about Anthony Smith? Is he on here? Can't tell who offense and defensive guys are. If there's no position on any of these guys. Brian Cushing. Craig Dahl. Since I don't know who's who. All right, I get it. You don't know how to do this. It's too hard for you. I know. What if I say and source stats? Let's see if it's smart enough if I tell it just to look in the player source stats table. You know, remove all the other crap out of there. Hmm. Add data, export data. Okay, so I don't know how. I have no idea how this works. Did it work? Did it do anything? I don't think so. I just what, page 2. Oh, did it actually return something? I want to say it returned something, but I don't know if that's just my second page of data. I got 25. Oh, so this is 25 of 26 to 50. No, this is just the data. I just asked it to get me. It's not alphabetical. I have no. I don't. I don't. I don't know how to do this. How do I write a MongoDB query? Right. Let's see here. Can you help me? Um, in MongoDB compass, how do I write MongoDB query? There's source. Okay, that is. Close this because that didn't do anything. I just don't have any idea what I'm doing. I did. I think so. If you're trying to find documents where interceptions exist in the player source stats collection, you might use those exists true. Oh yeah, MongoDB does not use SQL style select statements. Field names should be quoted properly. Queries should be formatted as JSON objects. Oh god, this is going to be terrible. This is not as fun as SQL. All right, so these guys, there's 434 with end receptions. How does that sound right? Let's see, how many does this say there is? 434. This one says there's 446, but some of these are pretty wonky. They might not be fully valid. All right. Now let's see. And how do I sort them? Let's say sort by let's say name. I can tell you, or how do you sort it? How do I do a sort? Here. I don't have any idea. What else did he give me? Any other tips? Sort. If you're using MongoDB shell, you can sort results like the DB collection that finds sort. Sending is one. All right, so it has a sort though. What if I go like name? Ah, that worked. All right, so now we should have. Let's see if Aaron Brown is the top guy on here. It is Aaron Brown. Yay! Aaron Brown, Aaron Stecker, Peterson. All right. Now it doesn't show me all of my stats though. How do I how do I get how do I read all their stats? This is just the parent values. What is that? Punt returners object, wide receiver using BLS, rushing third quarter, rushing fourth quarter, run individual receptions. Yeah, 5 drops. This is a tough thing to look at, man. Intent string other. I got rid of the other though. So this will be better when I put it in next time. But what is PD per attempt? Is that a thing? PD? Oh, PD. What the heck is PD? Oh, passes defense. So on receptions, yeah, 21 passes defensed. Huh. I mean, he did have a lot of passes thrown to him, 101. But you can't have, how would you have 12.3 passes per attempt? Passes defended per attempt. Drops per attempt. Yeah, look at this guy. He's got, how can you have 16.7 drops per attempt and only have 2 drops? that's that's not, that's like drops per attempt. That doesn't sound right. How would you have 16.7 or 12.5 with 1 drop? That must be the percentage of your targets that you dropped, which does sound about right. So of the times you were targeted, that's how many drops. That's the percentage. Drops per attempt is not really drops per attempt. It's your average. It's your average drops. It's like your drop percentage. You dropped 12.5. He dropped 12.5% of his passes. And then this guy who had he dropped 16.7% of the passes thrown to him. And only 8.3% of them were bad throws. So Anthony Becht, not doing great. A lot of drops. Now the passes defensed, 12 to 21 passes defensed against him. That's this is kind of an interesting set of stats. I'm gonna have fun putting that stuff in, because do you blame the receiver for passes defensed? So if you're throwing a ball and it wasn't a poor throw, because there's poor throw stats, can a ball be both a poor throw and a defensed pass? I think technically yes, but I would imagine they'd keep them separate, because then there's no identifying when a poor throw, because the assumption is that a drop, poor throw, and a pass defensed are all incompletions. I think that's the assumption, and these are just the forms of incompletions. So if a ball is pass defensed, you might, like in my case, I think I would give the receiver half credit. As in, poor throw, receiver's not to blame, so it's not going to affect him. Drops are 100% receiver's fault. He should have caught that. Passes defense is like 50-50. I think it might even be like 30%. It's 30% defense, 30% QB, and 30% receiver. Because that means the ball was on target, but you either couldn't catch it through the defender, which is your fault. The defender did his job, so that's the defender's good job. And then the quarterback shouldn't have thrown it, because or it was kind of a baddish pass. So 30% QB, 30% defender, 30% receiver, if a ball was pass defensed while he was playing it. You could just say it's not the receiver's fault at all, but I don't think you can do that. Receiver should be able to wrestle some balls away. Not all of them. That's why I say only 30%. It's only 30% his fault. The thought is that 30% of those he might have been able to catch. If he'd have fought for it, if he'd have made adjustments, if he would have got in front of the defender or tweaked accordingly, he could have done it for about 30%. The pass could have been thrown better, so we're going to give those to QB. Those are the poor throws, which we don't blame him for. And then the defender just made a great play. He just made it so it was impossible to catch, and that's 30%. Not the. That's also another 30%. That's not the receiver's fault. But I feel like a lot of passes that are defended, a good chunk of them anyway, the receiver could have done something and caught the ball, made made the necessary adjustment. So I give him 30% incomplete credit on that. So of the targets, normally I would give him a pass for poor throws, and therefore I won't count it against him. A poor throw is just the pass that doesn't matter. He couldn't have caught the ball. It's like I'm not gonna knock him for that. So he had 27 poor throws. Let's see if this is true. If this is the case, if I'm right, all of the incompletions would be the difference between target and reception. So we got 27, 34, and 21. That's 48 and 7's 55. That's not what that adds up to. 71. Poor throws 27, drop and 7 is 34. So this would be saying 34 of the incompletions okay, so poor throws are somehow they're overlapping passes defense. Hit at line. Is that even a poor throw? I don't know what that is. He may have been the target because of the direction it's going for. They just figured it out. Hit a line. That's kind of a quarterback's fault, not a receiver's fault. But what I'm seeing here is 34, but somehow they're still giving some of those incompletions otherwise. Huh. But he was the target. So if we say it's 21, dropped 7. And I can only figure intent. It means they intentionally missed it. Like they knocked it out of bounds or they did something with it. I don't know why that would matter, but I'm trying to figure out how this formula, how they're figuring out drops. Drops I know are bad, so that's 34, but there's an overlap. There may be poor throws in here, but 27 to 7 is 34, but obviously he was targeted 170. Oh, that's 70. Oh, I don't know why my brain was thinking. I was thinking 70 and 100. It was 30. Okay, 20. Okay, so 27 and 7 is 34, and 21 is 55. I don't know what those other ones are. 59, 63. I'm only seeing 63 total passes. Of course, I did delete the others. What those are. I only see 63 total passes, and there's 70 dropped. There's 70 incompletes here. What are the other 7? Must have been an other. I don't know what the others would be. Even if I counted the intentional. So they do seem to separate them. All right, let's see Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden had 43 incomplete. So 43 that he did not catch. So he had 3 drops and 11 poor throws. That's 14. 14 and 21 passes defense is 35. And 4 is 39. and whatever intent is 42. So that's pretty close. Because I said 43. I must have been in one. He must have had one other. And then Anthony Hill intentionally missed one. So all I can think of is intentional, like maybe he knocked it down on purpose to keep the defender from catching the ball. Like he defended the ball. Did he? In other words, he didn't even try to catch it. He did do something. He basically defended the ball himself. He just defended it from the defender. So is that a good thing? Sometimes it depends on where it was, right? I mean, you would hope that those are uncatchable passes, which meant they were poor throws, which he just kept the defender from getting. But he got his hands on it, therefore it's an incomplete. I, but you don't know for sure, right? I mean, was it catchable? Maybe it did hit his hand, but he chose not to catch it, so it was intentionally missed. That's all I can figure. Intentionally missed. So it does seem that for the most part, like that one's 5, 2 drops, 1 poor throw, that's 3, no defenses. The ball was hit the line for 4 and intentionally missed for 5. So again, it does seem like it mostly comes out, with the exception of whatever those others were, and they probably couldn't categorize them. I just call them incompletes. There are others. So it looks like there are 4. So the idea is now, what do I give them credit for? Um, so when I'm determining their hands, all right. So it's REC for the purposes of end receptions. Let's go back to my hands, my logic here. So we got end receptions, REC. I was just trying to see. Oh yeah. Let's go to my thing here. Oops, wrong one. Other string drop. Drop, hit it line, passes defense, fourth row. Yeah, it does. It's lowercasing them. All right, so it's REC lowercase. So it's these are probably all going to be lowercase. Now, pass attempts are an opportunity for the quarterback to fumble the ball. So that's end passing, I guess. Going to be probably going to be I and B. It's not pass attempts, but ATT, which is silly. These are probably going to be, since they're stats lines, not file names. Wait, those are file names. Wait, no, those are stats lines. The player source stats is the container. He's got 2 objects. It's 2 objects. Why do we have 2 objects? Oh, are these? There's not something goofy like. End receptions. End receptions too. End receptions is the better one. Right. What is it called? Hmm. I really wish there was a way to do this easier. I don't like JSON filtering sucks. Call me a whiner, but it sucks. What is playgrounds? No MongoDB playground. What is that? What is a playground? To disable this template, what is a playground? Select the database to use. VS Code playground? Insert a few documents into the sales collection. What? Run a find command. Run a message to the output window. Here we are. Here we run an aggregation and open a cursor to the result. Ugh. Ugh. What am I supposed to do with this? FPFM. Insert a few documents. I don't want to insert documents. Get collection. Oh, inserting. Oh, it's inserting like it's adding new ones. Oh, never mind. No, I just want to get collection. We'll call it player source stats. There. I'm not doing an insert. That's just silly. Run a field command to view items sold. Oh, so basically I can get rid of this one. That's an insert. We'll comment it out. I don't know if I'm ever going to do an insert this way, but comment this whole thing out. Just so I have it as a record, because I have no idea how to use this. Never done it before. This one, find that's then we'll go here. Maybe it's pretty much what this is. Maybe. Oh, no. Player source stats here. Source tab. Don't want to count. Call it players with Sure, we'll do a count. Houses and then not everything I want, but I just want to see how this works. I don't know how this works. What do I do? There's I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten really. Oh yeah, I did. I ate a bowl of cereal this morning, but that was hours ago. I'm gonna have to take a break, guys. And that's end receptions. Oh really? You want to sort the results by end receptions in descending order. Oh no. Put a count on the end. Or how do I run this? I have no idea how to do this. Let's comment this one out for now. Oh, really? I really don't want it there. So it doesn't just, it's just a JS file? Oh, it's obviously not going to work. Go in this. Let's go up one. Just put it in new over playground. Kind of silly, but I'll call it that because why not? Right, now what? How do I run it? Refresh. There it is. No, how do I run it? Oh, it just opens it. It's just not gonna help me any. How do I do it? How do I run this? MongoDB Copilot. No. Let's go over here. Go to ask. We'll close it. And say, how do I run this MongoDB play? Yeah, I can go control. What does it say? Control space? Anything. That doesn't help me at all. Okay, so what does it say? Open the command palette, Control Shift P, search for, looks like from playground. MongoDB, okay, let's do that. Control Shift P. What? MongoDB create playground. Move, open, view. Oh, so I have to do like this. Shift P. MongoDB. Oh, run all from playground. The lines from playground. Yeah. 0. So nobody came up with that value. Yeah, at least they did put it down. Player source stats. Fine. I have to do, is this capital? Not the most still 0. What am I doing on here? This learning. Oh, it's capital R on both. Ah, 445. Okay. Well, the reason I'm thinking this is better because for one, it's going to get me in the hang of using the this UI. I don't know what the heck this is. That's probably for if I want to actually see the results. So like playground results. So like that's undefined. But what happens if I do uh, 53 problems? 409 of the yeah, gotta add. I'm learning Mongo now. Now I'm on a roll. I'm learning something totally new. Or am I? Oh, you know what? How did it even do that? I mean, that shouldn't matter, but where's the cursor return by dot find into an array of documents. Sorting documents are used by the name field in descending order. Okay, I don't know where it's if it's doing something, it's not doesn't seem to be working. It's doing something. Yeah. Figure out output. It's like nothing. Players with receptions is not different. What do you mean players with reception? Oh, well, maybe it changed my name. No wonder they don't work. Ah, oh god. Well, I returned stuff, but it didn't return it in any kind of readable fashion. It just says object. I got 409 objects. Yay. I got passes. Okie dokie. Um, yeah, this is going to be weird. I don't know. I'd rather just have some kind of a select, but this is going to be wonky. Either that, I'm gonna have to learn how to use this, or learn how to drill down into this further. Because I'm in receptions, how come I got a bunch of objects? Huh. Why is it returning object relates? Um, there's stats import, but you don't have. Oh, there it is. Oh, I have to do that. Oh God, there's so many fields. I don't want to have to go through every field. Just give them all to me. Include, exclude. Oh, I guess it does kind of give you a way to do it. I have to do something like, hmm. Okay, well, I'm just, so I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go get some food. I'll be back for the next session. That's a 3-hour session of minimal progress, but I'm trying to learn all this stuff. I've been studying my stats, trying to make sure that my formulas are going to come together right and that I'm reading the data from the database correctly. Until next time.